Hi, I'm James Herbst. I'm the architect for the American School of Classical Studies Corinth Excavations and at the Athenian Agora. I'd like to thank Chris Strasbaugh and Betsy Robinson for including me in the program and for letting us share our work. Today I'd like to highlight 3 technologies that we've worked with in Corinth over the last year. I want to make sure everyone knows where we're located. Ancient Corinth is located in the northeast corner of the Peloponnese, and I have the classical city walls outlined in red. We're showing some of our work from the Lechaean harbor, the ancient harbor of the city, and the archaeological site here, and I'll be showing some of our work from the Frankish area south of the museum. The 3 technologies that I'd like to talk about today are Google Glass, Photogrammetry, and our online databases at ASCSA.net. First, Google Glass. Our Director of Publications lent us his Explorer set of Google Glass in April before they went on the market to the public. I imagine most of you are aware of Google Glass. It's a wearable computer, essentially cell phone technology installed in a pair of sunglasses. When offered the opportunity to test it, we had hopes of Googling to identify artifacts from the field and hands-free data entry in the pottery sheds. But this wasn't the case. I'll return to the strengths, but to cut to the chase, we quickly realized that the mixed reviews levied on glass were largely justified. The beta technology just wasn't quite there yet. Battery life is short, voice recognition is limited, especially for those with a Greek accent. It overheats quickly and easily, which is a problem in the heat of the summer in Greece. And there are few apps available at the moment. Some of our students were reluctant to embrace the new technology, so there was a lot of pressure put on them to try it. The cost is high. This set cost us $1,500 to test. And finally, one of our students noticed nobody looks good in glass. While there are glass users out there already hacking units and sideloading custom software, we decided to focus on the unit's native video functions. In the field, we asked students to film summaries of excavation activity in their area on a regular basis. The frequency was determined by the pace of excavation and what was being excavated. Typical excavation summary could be done about once a week, while more sensitive excavation like burials or conservation-intensive work could happen more frequently, several times a day or as needed. Being a tool for social media, we found that glass got our students thinking about presenting their areas to multiple audiences. And we also found that the videos captured and conveyed a sense of space different from photography that could supplement our current recording system. I've already started playing a summary by Larkin Kennedy, who was excavating burials in the nave of the church.
So as you can see, here are the feet and some leg bones, the tibias, that are extending yet further into the ground, and we are assuming that they will connect to bones leading up to the skull that you can see at the north end there. So it's another extended inhumation laid on their back, and he or she was not very tall. It looks like from the tips of the toes all the way to the top of the skull is only 1.7 meters, so not quite 6 feet. But in medieval times, that was probably fairly robust. And what else you can see, if I can step into this grave a little bit more, is that piled along the east side of the grave are more commingled remains, but it looks like only around one person. So we have this extended inhumation with a pile of disarticulated secondary remains off to its east, perhaps pushed to one side when this individual was interred.
The ability to document your work while working hands-free was one of the strengths that our conservators quickly identified. So the following video is our conservator Spiros Armenis describing the progress of lifting a mosaic at Corinth, and this was done as a little promotional video.
This is the line of tesserae we want to remove. So my first job is to cut the gauze around the yellow line. I do this because I want to strip the central row of tesserae. You can see now the tesserae are all ready to remove. And with my tools I remove each tesserae. And it's a little bit difficult because it's the first one. So as you can see, I remove the tesserae, I put some glue, and put it in this fabric, and then the next one okay, put the glue, and I put them in the fabric exact in the same place I remove them. So the line of tesserae from the mosaic became a line of tesserae in the fabric.
Well, for us, the verdict is still out for how glass and even video will enter our recording system. I want to move on to something that is more tried and tested. For the last 3 years, we've been experimenting with photogrammetry to create 3D models and for mapping. It's not a new technology. Many of our maps from the 1960s were drawn using photogrammetric techniques using aerial photographs. What is new in the last several years are affordable, accurate, and user-friendly computer programs that bring the technology down to us. There are many programs out there. AO's Photo Modeler and Agasoft Photoscan are 2 major programs. There's even a free app for phones by Autodesk, the company responsible for AutoCAD. We chose Agasoft Photoscan because the company offers good prices to an educational institution. The workflows are also easy, as I'll show you for this archaic column capital that I've pulled up. First, the photos are taken in sequence around the subject to capture the views with plenty of overlap from frame to frame. And I hope you can see that as I moved around the column capital, that I gradually worked my way lower and lower until I was actually shooting under as much of the underside as possible, with the goal of getting complete coverage of the entire subject. Let me return to the model here. Once you have the photographs, you upload the photos, 52 of them in this case, right here. And from the photos, the software searches for and selects common reference points represented on screen here by each of the dots. And you can see that there are reference points both on the subject and in the background. The software builds a 3D mesh, triangles created between all of those reference points that I showed you. And then it overlays a preliminary texture. It'll take a minute for that to come up, sorry. And then it builds a final texture that you see here from the individual photos, and that texture is draped on top of the mesh that I showed you. At this point, the model has proportion but no size. And so to get the proper dimensions, I added in 3 measured points here and referenced those in a section called ground control, and this gave the model the dimensions, the proper dimensions of the original object. While the capital is at a small scale, here's a mid-level application. This is the narthex of a Frankish church in which excavation occurred this past season. And conservation needed an accurate plan of the walls and marble paving of the room as we were about to remove and excavate beneath the plaques. In this case, the model is built from 75 photos and 11 control points measured by a total station. And I was able to export ortho photos and a DEM, or a digital elevation model, and bring those into ArcGIS. Here's the ortho photo that I imported into ArcGIS. It's laid on top of a larger ortho photo of the area so that you can see the narthex with its surroundings and the rest of the church. Incidentally, the backdrop is a larger scale mapping application with photogrammetry in which the photography was accomplished from helium balloons and kites. Let me zoom into the narthex and remind you that the goal was to document the room and paving in 3 dimensions. The ortho photo will give the conservators the ability to locate the marble paving off the walls, and by clicking the digital elevation model, giving that a chance to generate the view, will allow the conservators to see the height and slope of the plaques in topographic lines that I've generated in the GIS software here. So let me zoom in even closer. And I've got 1 centimeter lines here in purple and 5 centimeter lines marked here in blue, and the elevation is 85.30 meters above sea level. Here's a final example in which we mapped the ancient harbor at Lekian in 4 hours, again using both a kite and a balloon, and then processing the result in PhotoScan. The area is about 1,100 meters east-west, 700 meters north-south, or just over 190 acres. The brighter colored area is the area we mapped, and the desaturated area at the edges is the Google Earth as a backdrop. Here's the late Roman harbor, the late Roman basilica, and the inner harbor, which is now largely silted in. Then if I turn on the contours, take a second to generate those, you can see the mounds of sand from dredging the ancient harbor, the inner harbor, in antiquity. I'll turn those off again, and if I can zoom in, you'll be able to see the resolution that we're getting, as well as what we believe to be traces of ancient roads, light lines here in the vegetation. Okay. I need to move on to talk about our online databases at ASCSA.net. The programming and design of the tool are the work of my colleague, Bruce Hartzler, the IT specialist at the Athenian Agora excavation. 5 departments that contribute the data are highly independent entities at the American School, with a wide variety of collections, and they reside in 2 locations in Athens, as well as ours in ancient Corinth. An alpha version of the site was designed and opened in 2009 to test and prove that the disparate data sets of the school could be unified under one interface. Then, at the beginning of 2014, after months of collaboration with Bruce, we released a new version. It successfully unites the datasets of the school and links a variety of media and collection types. The data is mapped to the Dublin Core metadata standard, but also for our local scholars, native file names have been retained. And finally, the document system with the open source Apache Solr search platform is incredibly fast. Here's the front page with the main collections of the school in the main frame, the library, the excavations, the main and Gennadius archives. On the sidebar at left reside the collection types, texts and documents, and then places, plans and images, photographs, and then archaeological records like artifacts or objects here, coins, and then excavation records like deposits and the excavation notebook journals here. Under that, there are 4 different ways to view the data as lists, icons, a table format, and plotted on a map. And then there are account sign-in and error reporting at the bottom. So let me do one search here. I'm going to search the Dublin Core title field for geometric crater. That's a certain type of vessel from the geometric period in Greece, about the 10th to the 7th centuries BC. And I pull up 129 results from various collection types, plans and drawings, images, objects or artifacts, excavation notebooks, and inventory cards. I've got our records from both Corinth and the Athenian Agora. The Athenian Agora material is closer to the bottom. Corinth images here. Down further, images from the Agora as well. And more from the Agora. We go back up to the top and open up this detailed record of C 2006-13. A geometric crater that we excavated in the Penia field. On the left sidebar here are the references or the links out to other databases. It was published here in Sanders et al. 2014. It has 5 photographs, its basket or context information, and where it's found in its excavation notebook. Here. I can click that and I open up all of those references. Okay, I've got a photograph, 2 photographs of the object and the publication. We can open up the basket record. It shows the notebook page and the several views as the crater and its associated objects were being excavated. Okay, so you're seeing we're able to link among different databases and different collections from the different departments, which is really important because before both Corinth and the Agora have been treated separately. Opening the database to the field this season has given our student excavators new access to the archive while they were in the trenches, and allowed our visiting summer scholars year-round availability to the material they're working on. In the future, we're confident that our audience will grow. Also for the future, we'll wait for the price of Google Glass to drop while functionality and productivity increases, and as wearable technology becomes more prevalent. Finally, 3D modeling via applications and imagery like photogrammetry has shown real value to our excavations to map and document with a high degree of accuracy. And I think that 3D modeling adds new possibilities for the sharing and accessibility of art historical and archaeological artifacts. Towards that end, I placed 2 short web links to galleries of 3D models. The first is to my own with the 2 models that I've used in this presentation. And the second is to a colleague of mine, Sebastian Heath at NYU, who is building a gallery of models of ancient sculpture, ceramics, and architecture as a teaching aid. My email is below if there are comments or questions. Thanks so much for listening.